Sports ball.
And sports ball. We don't talk about sports ball. I wish we talked about
Everything is a lot
sports
to
ball.
live up to.
I wish we talked about sports ball.
No.
Yeah,
You
sports
talk
ball
about
where you
sports
dodge
ball
the
and
puck
mommy.
with birdie and all that.
It would make my life. Hello and welcome to the Villains Talk Show and Podcast. I know it's not Wednesday, but we're doing it early because we're all busy tomorrow. So welcome to the Villains Talk Show and Podcast. I am one of your hosts, C4. Below me is Insanieac. Diagonal to me down is the Great Grease Goblin. And then beside me is Sara, Vike. Hopefully, Sir Jeremy will find us soon. And we are the podcast that we talk about random things and stuff and things. And today's is that day. Today is that day because on Sundays we do 2 shots. So today is talk show day. Before I want to get started, I just give a shout out to the program that lets us do this. We run our podcast for free on Buzzsprout. We have a link that we post. If you ever want to start a podcast or like anything that we do, like we've been doing it for a year and I put them for free on Buzzsprout and it's super easy. And yeah, that's about all I have to say on that.
It's a really great place to get started. And, if you're really looking to figure out, where to start as a podcast, you might as well check them out.
Thank you.
This is a lot of fun to do. It's a great time with friends, so highly recommend it.
Sometimes it is.
On to today's topic.
Sometimes people get a little too heated.
That's just you.
That's true. I am so excited for today's topic. I wasn't excited for today's topic. Well, I was. This is also like when we decided it, but everything just got like the antithesis to this topic just got way more delectable for me. So today is evolution. No. We are talking about evolution, not just like evolution like chronologically. We're also talking about like it's just evolution in general. Evolution of like
Pokemon and
what
Digimon.
What yeah, exactly. What got me hooked on it was I started seeing shops around town that say no cash not accepted here. And so the evolution of currency. Like we're gonna see we're about to see a whole generation of kids who no idea what cash looks like.
Yikes! That's scary.
So evolution, but just before we started the stream, I learned something. Do you want to tell them what it is, Sara? You want to tell what I'm so excited about?
I grew up 100% in Christian schools, and we did not learn the theory of evolution, like microevolution, like variation and stuff we learned, but not the Big Bang and all of that. I honestly don't know hardly anything about that.
So,
really? It's going to be an adventure on Darwinism.
I really hope Sir Jeremy shows up because this would be one of a good topic. But I will submit for I have quite seeing as one of my sisters. Actually, let me rephrase that. Both of my siblings have master's degrees in biology, one in C and the other one in forestry. I've unfortunately become quite used to the talk of evolution and biomechanical engineering and such. So,
and those topics are always something going through my mind. I used to be very like involved in biology when I went to school. It was very something like I was very interested in, but I never really took to go into school for it. So when I went to school, my first thought was need a job. Biology didn't seem like one that was like one that you could find a job without taking a lot of time out of your day. Like a marine biologist or forest.
I hated biology. I was never good at it.
I love animals. So.
I now work with my high school biology teacher. He's the only teacher I'm working with who taught me. But yeah, my high school biology teacher. I see him every day. Work in his classroom. It's kind of weird.
Nice.
That's good.
At least you'll be able to learn more.
I mean, they are learning about species variation and stuff now, so.
Species variation.
Yeah.
Like
Not-
the finches
Yeah,
and
that's
the
interesting.
Galapagos.
not like so you never. So okay. Let's back up because I was always bad at biology, but like when I learned in public school, in the drabs of public school, what I learned about
I was in
evolution.
school too.
Sorry. Yes. We guess we both went to the same public school area, except you probably
Also in
where
public school.
I'm pretty sure we went to the same ish schools.
we went to we were in the same district. Actually, funny enough to people out there who are watching,
same districts. Yeah,
me and Insanieac went to completely different high schools, but it's funny because growing up in the city that we did, we both knew about each other's high school, and there was like we'll say like 4 really bad high schools. He went to one of them, I went to the other, and as soon as we
and one of the other ones was just down the road from me.
As soon as we both started talking about it, we're like, oh, but at least we weren't as bad as this one school. And we both agreed right away which school that was. And we're like, oh, it's really so yeah, I guess we had similar education levels. But
fun fact, there is only one school district in the city, so you guys all went to the same school district.
Yeah, that's what we were saying.
It definitely doesn't feel that way.
True, though.
The fact is that there was public schools you had to apply to get into, as opposed to the regular high schools that I went to. I mean,
education.
Yeah, but there's different.
There's the public one and then there's the Catholic one.
Oh, and the private one. It's always the private schools.
The private one isn't a board. It's totally different.
I mean, school, it's just schooling.
I think it also just depended on who your teacher was in a sense, right? Everyone teaches differently.
Yeah.
Oh, but sometimes you get teachers that would just phone it in. Like, I had so many teachers.
I don't think I ever had that. I don't think I ever did.
I had so many teachers who would just phone it in. I had one teacher. He was, honestly, my physics teacher, this young guy. And every Monday, without fail, he would show up fucking hungover. And the chemistry teacher, who was like also the rugby coach, would take him out drinking and tell us stories about I don't want to say his name, but about how he would just get him trashed. And like, because they're like the chemistry teacher was just a party animal. And like he would do the funnest. It was and that was my high school education. Like I literally had a whole day in physics class because our teacher was so hungover. He literally said, "Okay, so I can't let you go until 10 minutes after class, and then all you have to do is if anyone sees you, is you are doing a field experiment." And then we all just left after 10 minutes.
Perfect.
It was just, and you just see him sitting there rubbing his temples.
I don't think I've ever had a class like that.
I have a couple times.
Did you go to the lawn?
No, I didn't.
No,
Not you.
Oh,
I went to one of the other bad schools.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've been over this before.
Yeah, that's right.
Because you went to the bad one, Andrew went to the other bad one, and I went to one of the third bad ones.
It's impressive.
Let's so the convenience is, or
this is why we're on the Villains Talk Show, guys.
yeah, we all have conversion
tests. You're a therapist.
So now we can all compare notes about evolution, but what we learned in school.
Vastly different, I would say, to be honest. Just from that intro there,
probably.
Actually, that's the funny thing.
Well, do you guys want to kick it off, or do you want me to?
Well, funny enough, I actually never took biology.
You had to up until grade 10.
Nope.
Yeah.
No, you don't actually. You can take Science 10 and then never go to biology.
Exactly. Biology is part of Science 10 and Science 9.
But they never actually taught biology for more than like the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. And that was all we got.
We're taught a little more than that, I hope, or else
that was it.
Your teachers were really failing at doing their job.
Yeah,
that's why you went to the other bad school, Sarah.
Sarah,
The curriculum
teacher
has a
I
whole lot
had-
more than that in it.
so
teacher I worked with had a lot more focus on like the other two, chemistry
and
and
physics.
Yeah, that
Oh,
so
let's see
very
what
little
grade 10
information.
biology curriculum should be.
I never learned about evolution like fully. Like you always talk about it in high school and junior
Yeah.
high and stuff.
So it's not actually in our curriculum at any point in this province.
You do learn about Darwin's finches in grade 7
Yes.
and 8.
Yep.
Yeah.
But because that was part of that unit. No. When I actually learned about evolution and the actual stages of evolution is when you take anthropology, because that's what that is. That's what anthropology is. And what I remember from anthropology, in fact, someone
Find your amateur professor sunglasses.
Oh my god, is that it? Is that the one right there? Just someone keep talking.
Right. So at my
Darwinism
school,
stuff.
my biology was quite involved in like from how an ecosystem works from the lowest microorganism, like microorganism to the humans as it is set right now, to even like the functions of, like the weather system and stuff like that, and how the planet essentially functions with the different resources it has on its surface. And then when I went when we kind of went into more into chemistry a bit is when we started learning about more about microorganisms like the mitochondria and like the nucleus of a cell, essentially like that. But when I got into I think it was like grade 11, I took science 11 just because I was more interested in seeing what else was there about it, and I don't think I did super great in that class because I ended up like skipping a lot. It was the same time when I got my first girlfriend in high school, so it was just like not there.
Yeah.
But from when I was there, I did pay attention to a lot of things. We ended up going into essentially like dissections of like the sheep's heart and stuff like that, and the cow's eye, and learning how each of the different organs function through the body, through different levels and things like that. After that, like when I was kind of out of school, I did a bit more like on my own, trying to like understand different animals and how different animals work in certain characteristics and function to certain levels, trying to understand why animals do certain things they do, not just based on like it's their natural, predetermination or whatever. It's, instincts and things like that, trying to better understanding.
Found it.
So I'm looking at the curriculum for grade 10 science right now, and basically you just don't learn much of anything at all. So, you know what? Grease Goblin, you probably actually are right that you really just learned about cells because that's all you were supposed to learn about.
Yeah.
I learned a fair bit more in mine. Mine was pretty more involved.
So I have
I
here
had a teacher that was actually pretty like interested in teaching.
my first year textbook into Anthropology 101.
Yeah. Exciting.
Yes. So that's why I was like, oh my god, I actually kept all my textbooks because I am that nerdy actually.
There's so many textbooks in our house. Most
It's
of them
nice.
are Jan's.
So,
Well, I kept it.
and thankfully, I was able to locate where it starts talking about
Man, yeah.
paleo
grade 10 science. We're nothing.
anthropology.
What on earth?
So, in terms of, because I'm not just going to open the book and read it. In terms of the way anthropology works, Sarah, is you get paleo, glotto, and there's two more, and my professor would kill me. One of them's about civilizations, and the other one's about cultures. I still remember what they're about, at least. But what you're looking at is archaeological, because what you look at is then you get into Homo habilis, Homo africanus, or no, it's what is it? God, I used to know it's Homo habilis, Homo erectus. And the reason they call it is because Homo erectus is like the first real human. Something Africanus is still like half human, half ape. Actually, you know what's the best way? You know what? The best way to summarize anthropology. Anyone out there in the audience has seen Futurama.
Yep.
The Futurama episode where Bender shows that life on a robot planet. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is
proves evolution.
Yeah, but every time the professor argues with this orangutan about that, because the orangutan obviously is against evolution, and every time he comes up with a new skeleton, he asks, well, okay, well, there's still a gap between these two. Where's this one? And the reality is that it's because there's so many millions of years that we actually have almost in a perfect array of skeletons over time that shows our evolution from chimpanzees.
Yeah.
But
from
where it's really funny is you get things like, and this is a fun one. There's another one too, but I remember one of the biggest arguments I've heard from people who believe in non-evolution. Biggest argument I heard, at least from
Creation theory,
is crocodiles. Someone that I knew, this one guy, I don't want to say his name or how I know him, but he was a pretty big Bible thumper, and his biggest thing against evolution, he would argue crocodiles and how they never change, and how things, and then God made things smaller. So they used to be huge. He would argue that T-Rexes were actually giant chickens, just giant, massive chickens, and God just made them smaller over time.
Fascinating.
Yeah. And that's why when I remember, because when they finally said oh, there's probably feathers on dinosaurs, this guy was like, see, I told you they were chickens all along. God just made them smaller. Evolution is bullshit. And I was like, holy fuck, man.
That would still technically prove evolution in a sense, because if you're making them smaller, it's the progress of it being smaller to fit the ecosystem.
Yeah.
No, not in his mind though.
No, but theoretically, that's technically what it is.
I saw an article earlier that showed that the Ceratosaurus or whatever it's called, like the carnivore, actually had scales.
That's cool.
Due to a fossil that they found that was a skin fossil of that dinosaur.
I mean, the names of all the dinosaurs, I'll be honest.
To be fair, though, you're talking about things that existed hundreds of millions of years ago. Like, how are you really gonna really put a date or what it actually is? I mean, it's preserved in ice for so long, but
they can do certain carbon dating on some things, but not.
But carbon dating is inaccurate. That is a huge misconception that I hate, because it is the one thing that a lot of monotheists will fall back on, is carbon dating is so inaccurate. And I hate to say it, but it is.
To be honest, so.
The only reason we know the true age of Jerusalem is because of the Jews' incredible ability to keep time. Because it's the year 5,700 and some, they know that they can actually trace their lineage. You could even go but then you have convergent history, where there's hieroglyphs in Egypt that talk about the Jews' exodus from Egypt, or you have Romans who don't actually, there isn't ledgers that actually talk about the crucifixion, but there's actually a ledger. It's somewhere and it's preserved where it actually has all the names to be crucified, and one of them was Jesus Christ. And he was actually, so they can prove Jesus Christ was a person and he was crucified on this day. And that's all they have. That's the only convergent history they have. And that's usually how they prove something. how they know so much about the Mongols is not just because they wrote stuff down, but because other cultures that they taught to write also wrote stuff down about the Mongols and their rule, and so you had all this convergent history, so they're able to build an actual history.
Having multiple witness accounts, right?
But this is where it gets fun, though, because human evolution, like, although technically bodily it hasn't stopped, you could say us being born without a gallbladder. Is it gallbladder or pancreas? It's one of those two, right? No, it's gallbladder. Gallbladder.
It's one of those two.
I think your pancreas is important.
Yeah, you get people are born without their gallbladder, and you could say that's biological evolution because we don't use it anymore. But
there's a tendon in the wrist that a lot of kids are being born without now too. Helps with climbing.
Yeah, because it's pointless.
Yep.
Like we don't use them anymore, and and that you could say that's slight changes, but that's because human. It's almost like the human. If you think about when humans finally actually clicked, when the Jethro Tull movement actually happened, not when it was written to happen, not when actually Jethro Tull came out with the Tull machine, but like the moment when the human actually decided that they could use a stick to fight. Like how much evolution actually has happened since? I would say, or how much distance from that time, how do you think has actually been?
I feel like a lot of evolution has been mental and like cultural and emotional.
Evolution. Well, that is a kind of evolution. My point is, like realistically, okay? From the time a human picked up a stick and hit it on something's head to kill it, and was smart enough to do that, to right now, how long realistically do you think that timeline is? Like
quite a bit.
Not long. Oh, not long at all.
Like maybe like
in the grand scheme of things.
Like maybe like 500,000 years, maybe
at most, like maybe 600,000 years.
Like maybe because they did cross the ice age, so that's the only time we can really peg human travel is you have the ice age.
So, and there hasn't been like a whole lot of physical evolution in that time, but there's a lot of it has been exterior in the sense
and mental
not so much.
and like if you like the only way you can quantify. I remember that was one of the other things we learned in anthropology is the real big thing between every single variation of human is not just as their back gets more erect do they stand up more, it's the cranial capacity. Our heads keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger to the point that we have actually one of the most awkward birthing processes in the animal kingdom.
Well, we're born prematurely, essentially, all of us.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it's and like
human gestation should be much longer than it is. We shouldn't be born so tiny and helpless.
Yeah.
But if we weren't, the mothers would just die.
Yeah. It's actually or like how horses are born with feathers.
Fascinating.
Have you ever seen those pictures?
I don't think I have.
No.
That sounds fake.
Oh, dude, it's not. Because the hooves, right? The hooves can tear through the mother's uterus. So horses are born with feathers on their hooves.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then
I didn't know that's why, but I knew.
The mother tears them off when they're born.
They're not like bird feathers, though. They're just like clumps of fur, tufts of fur.
I guess
it'd probably be plumage.
It looks fucked.
Or they're not feathers.
It doesn't matter. It looks fucking ugh. I don't even have to look at the picture to know what I'm thinking about, and it disturbs me.
The word of today, or the word of the day, will posted right now.
The word of the day.
What?
That is the word of the
day. Can you pronounce the word of the day
no,
for our viewers at home who are not watching the stream?
Go for
it. Did you put it on Twitch?
Yeah, it's on Twitch.
Yeah.
Why did we have a word of the day all of a sudden?
Because I don't think Grease Goblin can pronounce it. I don't want to. I don't want to. One more time. One more time.
Ponychium?
No. I want to. I
How do
want
you
to
pronounce it?
How do you pronounce it?
I just tried. You said no.
Eponychium.
That makes more sense, yeah.
Eponychium.
Epicninium.
No, because you added an extra N that doesn't exist there.
Let's see.
Well, how did this come up?
Yeah,
I don't want to look it up. Let's leave that for anyone else at home.
No, I'm curious
It's
how.
the layer of the skin.
It's going to be like...
The stuff
it-
that joins the
Yeah,
fingernails
it's
and
not feathers.
Ah.
Yeah.
So...
Wow.
I feel like we haven't talked about the most perfect life form of them all.
We don't need to talk
Crab.
about any of these life forms.
Yes,
You
crabs.
mean... I was going to say
Crabs.
crocodiles? Things that haven't changed for over
crab.
5,000 years?
Crabs haven't
500,000 years?
5,000 years either.
500,000
Ants
years?
probably haven't changed in a long time.
Ants have gotten smaller and crabs have changed. I
much, though.
thought crabs have gotten smaller.
I don't believe.
Yeah, they've gotten smaller to fit into the ecosystem. That's it.
Yeah.
But you also have to consider the fact
And
that
crabs
other
used to
things
be
are evolving into crabs.
And crabs are arachnids. They're
They're
technically
still arachnids.
they're technically
they're a type of
they're technically a bug.
Just like scorpion, or just like lobsters and shrimp.
Well, they're arachnid with exoskeleton, right?
Yeah, it's pretty cool
They're
that
arachnids because they have
a lot of
legs.
people don't think about that. But yeah, crabs and lobsters are insects. Giant
Yeah, they are.
insects that we
Yeah,
eat.
Yeah, there's
As
sea
are
insects,
shrimp. and
Yeah.
as are
Yeah,
shrimp
yeah.
or crayfish.
Anyone at home who's seeing that? Crabs are insects. Same with lobsters. I still eat them,
and
but just so
people-
you know,
I like you're so like this. I like
They're
this
giant.
feels like such a revelation for you. Like,
you know how many people actually like figure because it's disassociation, right? People automatically think, oh no, it's shellfish. Ah, it's a kind of fish because it puts fish after shell. They automatically think that all shellfish are the same. Like clams are the same as crabs. It's the what's the name of the?
that's because people. That's just being ignorant about the topic.
That's not even ignorant. There's actually a name for that. When you associate something, it's like how people associate certain animals with different species of animals when they're actually not even closely related. Like how bears and dogs are actually super closely related, but a lot of people would never see that. And then you have honey badgers and bears are not related at all, but people automatically assume they are.
badgers are not the same.
But there's a name for that. But yeah, so it's something I remember because I used to say it as a kid, be like, I would love some giant 8-legged arachnid from the sea on my plate.
yes.
Give me that
so
deep sea.
weird.
Give me those deep
Such
sea
big
scorpions.
words.
This is all new to me. This is so weird.
This is all new to you?
No, this phrasing.
Oh, 'cause
I've
I
never
don't-
heard that before.
I mean, we never ate crab together. Take me out for a crab meal.
I just don't think it's that big of a revelation.
I mean,
Well,
that's gonna be
you're
like-
also a cook.
Yeah,
Make John crab.
I'm knowledgeable about the subject.
Exactly. So this is nothing new to you.
I mean, like, because if you just this goes into like biology as well. If you're just paying attention to the ecosystem, right? There's a land and a sea ecosystem. The insects, kind of are the smaller microorganisms that manage waste and
Hold on.
what?
Do you think this means giant bird-eating spiders taste like crab?
Yes. They do.
I mean, they're a type of probably they're the white meat
you
of
just
Oh,
gotta
that's
boil
good.
them first.
I'm all of a sudden
Aren't we closely related to pigs? Do we taste like pig? Yes.
Yes.
So, maybe.
Supposedly we do. I mean,
Yeah.
I've never
This is
wanted
not
to try. What are you talking about? That's sadistic and evil. And why would you bring up something so disgusting, Sarah? God.
Because evolution is a part
God,
of that.
it's not like I'm looking up do giant bird eating spiders
I could bring you some like insects to
taste
try.
like
Wow.
Kind of insect.
crap?